Hi, it's Michelle. I'm here today to talk to you about a lot of sickness going on and it's a lot of death. We all know we're going to depart from this earth one day. But there's so much sickness going on and like more than ever. And I was one of those people. I couldn't even read the Bible. And I went through a lot. And I'll tell you about it. But I did listen to these four kings that was on YouTube because I couldn't even read the Bible. And their names are Mike Malice, Marcus G. Common sense ain't so common, which is so true. And let me get this right, King Yah Gideon. And they helped me a lot while I was going through, and they just didn't know it. I was going to reach out to Marcus G because he has medical insight, but I just couldn't. I guess it wasn't time for me to reach out to him. So, let me tell you what happened. But before then, let me tell you something, how I was introduced to the Most High God. I was about, I forgot, 11 or 12. I was in the 6th grade. And I went to my mother and I said, Mom, my head hurt, my back hurt, and my neck hurt. I never experienced no pain like that before in my whole life. She said, go lay down. So that's what I did. And I guess she had so much going on. I'm not blaming her or nothing like that because, I'm the 7th child out of 11. So that's a whole lot to deal with. So I went and laid down and I remember my dad coming home. I was in his arms getting in the car. And I remember being at the hospital with ice all on me and I'm screaming. And then the next thing I knew, I was laying in the bed. I don't know how long time had passed. And my arm was hurting so bad. And I had a niece and nephew. And I said, get off my arm. Get off my arm. And I opened my eyes and I looked down at my arm and I pulled the things, the needles out of my arm. Took a few steps, passed the freak out. I could hear, but I couldn't move or say anything. And I heard a voice, and she said, or he, whatever, she's dead. And I said, dead? This is dead? What? To myself, because I couldn't say nothing. And I heard my mother scream like I've never heard her before. And she said, oh no, oh God, not my child. And then I felt 3 slaps on my face. And I looked up at my mother and I said, Mom, why you slap me 3 times? And she said, baby, I didn't slap you. And that's how I know the Most High was with me and His Son. And then time went on. And I got out the hospital, I guess about, I don't know, probably I stayed there 2 weeks and I seen my daddy on the outside. He was eating chocolate because they couldn't come in because I was isolated. So I got home and I was, doing okay. And then after that, and then I got to be in my, I don't claim nothing on my life. They called it meningitis. So, okay. That's what you say. Now, and then when I got in my 30s, there was a lot going on with me then. And so the doctor said lupus. So my mother said, see, I don't claim nothing neither. No. And then this last time, it was pretty hard because the first time I couldn't remember too much of nothing. And so my brother was coming, and I was excited. One of my brothers coming to see me and us and stuff like that. So we went outside, working on the yard and the deck, and I took a fall. So one of my grandsons, picked me up. I don't know how I feel, but that's neither here nor there. And that same day, something happened. I felt funny. So I went in and took a shower, and that was the relief I got. And I started itching. And so I took another one. Every time, I just kept taking showers because it was relieving the itch. But then things start, I thought something had bit me or whatever, but I don't know what it was. And then the itch got so it was so unbearable. I couldn't hardly stand it. And then my body, blisters, they look like, I don't know, sores or whatever, and they started turning black. And then my daughter said, take this oregano. So I was taking that, and she made me dandelion soup and stuff like that, and it felt a little better. But then it started getting worse. Then infections started coming out of my body, and I couldn't have nothing on my body touching me, so I started wrapping myself up with gauze. And so the yellow stuff, the infections started coming out, and I went to the hospital, and then they took a few samples and sent me home. With a little itch medicine stuff. Didn't help. It got worse, and I was sitting in the room by myself because I didn't know what it was, and I stayed prayerful. That's one thing I did. My faith got stronger. As my body got weaker, I got stronger in God, and I did pray, and I asked. I said, God, please don't let me go through this, but if I have to, I know I don't have a choice. I will. So I got on my knees with the blisters. I didn't care because the blisters didn't even bust. It was from my feet. And then they would just spread it more, leg, almost every part of my body, only parted, even in my head. And then it got up to my neck, and then I said, oh, this was vanity. I said, oh, God, please don't let it get on my face. And he didn't. And, because I could feel it on my eyelids, but it wasn't like the other parts of my body. So I didn't tell my children how bad I really felt, because I was getting weaker and weaker, and I couldn't. And I told one of my daughters, I said, take me back to the hospital. So I went. I stayed in the emergency room like the whole night. They didn't have any beds, and they didn't know what it was or what not. They couldn't figure it out. So I finally got in the room the next day, and my doctor came, and I looked at him and I said, what's going on? Come and see and look, right? And so I said, you can at least look at the part of my leg is huge and it's black and it's got all this yellow stuff coming out and I'm itching so bad. And he stood back. And so I've been going to this doctor for a long time. So my eyes got truly open. And he acted like he didn't want to come near me. Okay, you're a doctor. Put on a mask. Put on a suit. I don't give a freak. Do what you have to do. And he mumbled some stuff and didn't even recommend to do this test or any test because, the nurse said he didn't put nothing in. So my daughter said, fire him now. So she was going to get me a doctor, that she knew that he was good. But he was going on vacation that day. So some kind of way, I don't know what occurred, but I asked God, I said, please send a doctor, somebody that can help me. Because I know all things are possible with you. So they got 3 doctors in there. One infections doctor, one that did the biopsy, and the other doctor. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know none of it. And they all looked at me. They weren't scared of anything, looked at me and and they were saying this and that, and I'm kind of out of it. And he ordered all these tests, and the doctor looked at one of them, looked at me, they smiled and looked at one particular one. He said, don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. I'm going to take care of you. And I smiled. And he smiled back. He said, you have a pretty smile. I said, thanks. And he gave me a hug. I don't know if it was out of pity or what. So I stayed there 8 days. They gave me, a strong antibiotic and steroids. Like every 4 hours, I couldn't sleep. And this itch medicine that calmed it down because it was so unbearable. I couldn't stand it. It was like, oh my God, I never experienced anything like that before in my life. And I couldn't understand what was going on. But I know as I was weak in my body, I'd be all right. And I finally got home after the 8th day. And I couldn't do nothing but lay there or sit there. I couldn't, nothing. And I couldn't understand, but why? But I could pray and I listened to the men. That's all I could do. I got away from the TV and everything else, and I just stayed prayerful. And and my husband did step up, surprised me. He was doing everything he could do to help me. And I'm grateful about that, and also my children and grands. And I'm thankful for that, because they were truly concerned about me. But I know the Most High and His Son was going to take care of me. Either way, I was going to be all right. So, I just want to let people know that we can get through things. And then as I was getting a little stronger, because I told my daughter, I said, I know He loves me. but I am truly terrified of him. I thought I was, scared a little, but I know now I'm truly terrified of the Most High and His Son, because you just can't take things for granted, and all power is from Him. And then I said a few things that I had read in the Bible, just joking, and then I woke up one morning and had, because I said, oh, not my face, that was vanity. So then both my lips had swelled up on one side, and the same thing was happening, and then the stuff on the side of my face was coming. So God, help me, please. And I went through it, and it didn't bother me. And then I knew that I didn't have that vanity in me anymore that I didn't think I had, because one thing I do know, beauty fades, and there's always beautiful people out here. But you can be beautiful and ugly on the inside. But if you have that beautiful spirit in you, your beautiful spirit on the inside, it's going to shine on the outside. And so God revealed a lot of things to me, and I'm so thankful for that. And I'm so thankful that I'm here to speak on it and to let someone know that all things are possible when you praise Him and He's first in your life, and Almighty and everything to you. The Most High and His Son is everything to me. And just pray and be grateful, because I'm grateful for the minute things that He's done for me. So I want everybody to have a blessed day. And don't forget, stay prayed and believe in the Most High God and His Son.